All right. Welcome to Message Reveal. Here at Message Reveal, we identify a vibe, a message, or a story through lyrics. And today we have a special guest. Our special guest is a former CCSD captain, former Air Force. From my understanding, loves to read, fitness, loves vintage cars, a youth advocate and mentor, a musician, a vocalist, and many, many more. That's just a few things that I can say about this person. So please, please put your hand together and give a round of applause to Mr. Ken Young.
Hey.
So, Mr. Ken Young, tell us what makes you tick. What gets your blood boiling?
That's a great question. I'm still trying to figure it out every day. I love, like I say, I love music. Everybody kind of knows that. I enjoy mentoring. I enjoy seeing people have those aha moments. When they get something, when it clicks and they go, oh yeah, I never thought about it like that. I enjoy those types of things. Recently retired, so I'm finding, my whole new life now. Still doing a lot of things that I did, but not doing a lot of things that I've done. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Wow. I love if we can go back just a little, the aha moments. Can you give me an example of someone that you've helped or you've provided that aha moment and how it touched you?
Well, I've been mentoring for years. Before we called it life coaching and all these other fancy things, I was doing those things that were done for me, as a kid, where people were speaking positive things into my life. So I've always had a passion for helping young men, especially. So when I've had these opportunities to talk in group settings or even one-on-ones, and you're trying to drive a point or trying to redirect somebody's process, and then they go, dang, that makes sense, or I never thought about it like that, and then they start devising their new plan and their new direction. Those are the aha moments. Musically, when we're working, I work with a lot of young musicians. And then, so, having those things where, talk about things that we did back in the day and how they worked. And then they correlate that with how they do things now and have those aha moments. Okay, like, yeah, that's not so bad.
Wow. I think that's wonderful to be able to give a bridge because we need that. I know it was people in my life that gave me that bridge to say, hey, we did it like this, but look what you're doing now and can connect it to make it valid. I think that's a beautiful
Right,
thing.
right,
So,
right. And often, my era, a lot of times, we look at the young people and say, like, you guys have lost it completely, versus like, let me show y'all how that works, with some old school magic on it.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think if we continue to be open in that manner, it will be a balance of everything. We can't discard the old, we can't discard the new. I think it's a combination of both. And when we really understand that, we will be elevated in so many areas. And that's just my perspective on it.
Definitely. Facts for sure.
Yes. So as we transition on, um, one thing we talk about lyrics, like I said before, lyrics of a song. So it's some rules to this. I want you to understand that. And you're going to have to abide by these rules. So, a lyric of a song that has really defined you or blessed you or given you some direction. But the rules are if you can sing, you have to sing the song. If you can rap, you have to rap the song, but if you can't do either, you just have to say it boldly. So, can you share a song lyric that really resonates with you?
Well, one of the ones, for people that know me on the gospel side, never would have made it,
Hmm.
never could have made it without you. Those types of things. And on the R&B side, I'm a Frankie Beverly and Maze fan. So as soon as you hit, you make me happy,
All
those
right.
type, it turns the room.
Yes, yes. I love that. Um, let's go back just a little bit. And you said never would have made it. With that song, we know it holds so much power, and each person can tell a story that's connected to that because it can be a collective, I never would have made it, or it can be an individual, I never would have made it. Is it a story that you have inside of you that's connected to Never Would Have Made It that no one knows anything about you? Like, they don't know. I never would have made it if God had not supported me.
Well, just look at my career. I just finished 31 years in law enforcement, and with
Wait, we
all of
gotta we
the
gotta celebrate that because a black man in law enforcement that truly supported us. I mean, of course, across the board, you were honorable, but the mere fact that you represent us and you look like me every day, that's amazing.
yeah, it was some definitely struggles and some challenges, fighting through, the norms and the good old boy system, and I was able to fight against that. I got some scars. So that's why that particular song, that's just one of the areas of my life. When I sing Never Would Have Made It, it resonates. Just getting through life, period.
Yes.
As a black man, it resonates. you know
Yes.
Things that I've gone through in my life, my family, losses, gains, all that kind of stuff. So it always resonates in those areas.
Wow. That's definitely because we need people that are listening, myself, we all need to know these things that we have to be able to tap into the source. And that's a good source to tap in. Never would have made it without you. So we know who we depend on,
Come
period.
on now, come
Yes,
on,
yes. We don't want to get to preaching in here. I got somebody that can sing.
come on now. I'm a PK. Don't get me started.
Okay. So tell me just a little bit, if I can, tell me where you're originally from, how you grew up, and how you actually transitioned to Las Vegas.
I'm originally from Oakland, California, Yay area.
Okay.
Uh, I joined the Air Force in 1982, and out of my training camps, they were going to initially send me to Germany, but there was a guy that wanted to go there. He was head over heels with a young lady that he wanted to go there and be with, and I was like, well, Vegas can't be that bad. It's right next to California. So I got here August 17th of 1982. It was 116 degrees. I thought, oh my God, I've died. I'm in hell. You know? uh, so I was like, okay, I got to get out of here as quick as possible, And I was like, okay, I'll be here for 2 years. I'm going on 42 years later, I'm still here. I did 9 years in the Air Force, and I stayed here, got on the police department, and I'm still here. So it's been a great journey for me. I'm glad that I came.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, from I don't know if I told you that I'm a native of Las Vegas. So anybody to me been here 30 years or more, I consider them a native. By way of Oakland, California. I know you're not giving that part up, but
I'm
y-
native-ish.
yes, because you've seen the changes, it continue
Yeah,
to change. We're in the capital of what they say, the entertainment capital of the
entertainment capital.
world.
Yeah,
And it definitely is, but we need to be able to tell our story from our lens. So that's great to know. And I'm glad you're here because I would have never been able to meet you and do wonderful projects with you. So I'm happy to know that. With
you as
that
well.
being, thank you, thank you. With that being said, can you give me a lyric of a song that changes the atmosphere of the room? And with you being a vocalist, you can gauge the room, and maybe you had a song prepared for this particular room, and you gauge the energy. And you're like, I think I better use this one. Can you give me an example and
Right.
why?
Just like for me, if anybody that's ever worked with me knows that in my live events, I normally don't have a set list. I say, here's our starting point, and then I gauge from here. And who knows, what we may do. So in R&B settings, we do stuff like I'm mainly known for old school. So we'll do stuff like, the time has come for us to stop messing around. Everybody, all of a sudden, we got the two steppers going. Uh, that's that old Gap band. Like I said, of
Yes,
course, you hit the Frankie Beverly. You made me happy. Those types of things. Joy and pain. Those types of things. Get people to going back to happy times.
yes.
And that's what I like to do. Like when you leave my show, is that you've had an experience. You've gone down memory lane. You've sang a little bit. You've danced a little bit, and it's all about the lyrics.
Wow, I love that. Um, are those your go-to every time you actually do a show? Some fake.
Not they're always there if I need them. You know, because a lot of times I'll get requests to do stuff that, I didn't even think about that one. Okay, so we'll put it in there. But those are songs that if I don't sing them, a lot of times the people are like, you didn't sing my song, but yeah, I sang it the last 19 weeks, where you been?
Oh, that's funny. It
Yeah,
makes me I know you know who Nancy Wilson is.
yes.
And she has one of my favorite songs, Guess Who I Saw Today? And I was watching years ago a documentary or a interview, and one of the things she said that song she had to sing it, and one time she removed it out of her set list, and people came up to her and was like, "Wait a minute, why didn't you sing that song?" It
Right,
became like that part of her. She always had to sing that song.
right,
So
right.
I think that's wonderful that people are coming up to you, giving you like, "Hey, where's the song?"
Right, right. Like I did one of the other things I did. I worked with Gladys Knight for 13 years as one of her
Oh,
singers.
excuse me. I did not know that, sir. If we're gonna just
Yeah.
skate on by that.
See, what had happened was, no, yeah, yeah. While I was a police officer, so it was great. So at 13 years, I was with her, and we used to have conversations. I used to always try and tap into her wisdom. And the young musicians and I, we were talking about, hey, can we just kind of spruce this song up a little bit, Midnight Train? And she says, Midnight Train was a hit, still is a hit. And when people come, they want to hear Midnight Train. They
Yeah.
don't want to hear, she said, how many times do you think I've sung this song since 1973?
Wow.
She said, this is what they come for.
Well, and I can understand that because they want to sing along to it. And if
Right,
it's modified in any kind of way, that interrupts, even though I do think some songs have been modified and it's wonderful, but certain songs, they expect that. And I
right,
get it. I get it.
right, right. It's just
So,
like simple stuff like the national anthem, the Lord's Prayer. Simple.
yes,
And when people change
yes.
them up, people are looking like,
Well,
why they do that?
exactly. Well, everybody has their rhyme and reason how they do things and for whatever reason. So, do you have a favorite artist that their lyrics just stands out to you?
Mm,
And I know it
I'm
may be
a
hard because you are a musician. So,
I love People Bryson. People Bryson, is a great storyteller as it relates to love stories.
mm,
He did stuff like, I'm so into you, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
mm,
Feel me, I want to feel the fire. I mean, he's doing that kind of stuff. His lyrics, really speak to, the embodiment of love.
yes.
And a lot of times that's what we've lost in some of our younger artists is that they don't tell the stories anymore. They just get straight to the end.
Well, that is true. And I think it's turning around, it's coming around because I find a lot of young artists are sampling the old school and they're taking it and putting their spin on it. And they understand you got to
Right,
take your time to get what you want. You can't
right,
just jump on it, so to
right,
speak, and
right,
say, I'm here, because you
right.
won't get no longevity out of that.
Come on now. Come on.
So I think that's a valid point, and I'm glad you brought him up. I'm so into you. Yes, isn't that
Yeah.
something? If somebody said that to you, I'm so into you. Like, wait a
Man,
minute.
that's deep. That's
Yes,
deep.
just
That's
that
deep.
alone, it'll make you pause. It'll make you think, and it'll get your attention. So
Yeah.
I definitely love that.
Yeah. Like those
So
types of artists, I love the OJs. I
yes.
love those type of guys. Country and Western, I used to listen to Glenn, oh, God, who did I used to listen to? The Oak Ridge Boys, those types, because I love harmonies. Um, I love
Oh,
big band.
give me something. You said the Oak Ridge Boys. Give me something.
Oh, play me some country music, like grandma. Those types of things. I used to do those
Okay.
way back in the day.
Yes, yes. All right. I put you on the spot and you produce. He said, play me some country music. I love it. I always pose this question to my guests because this is something that happened to me. Give me a lyric of a song that as a child you sung And then as an adult, you was like, wait a minute, I didn't know they were talking about that. Like, for example, Mary Jane. It just had a nice beat. And what they were talking about was, marijuana. Can you think of a song?
Sure. And I got in trouble for singing this one time in the car. We were leaving church. Let's get it on, oh baby. Let's get
Yes.
it on. My dad was like, "So what does that mean? Let's get it on. Like, let's make it happen. Make what happen?"
Oh my gosh. So he was trying to get you to understand what it really was about.
Right, right.
Yes.
And at 10, 12 years old, you don't need to be singing that kind of stuff.
Of course, of course. But we all have been there. Like I said, it's
Yeah,
songs that I've sung, not knowing, but that shows you the power of music that is so intrusive and it just gets you and it takes you on and you're singing it. And sometimes you're not even aware of the lyrics because it just takes you and empowers you. And next
right,
thing you know, you're like, oh, I did not know that
right.
that's what it's
Here's
about.
one to go home and go when you get a chance. Listen to this one. Listen to the lyrics of "Too Close."
Too
Girl, I
close.
sing it's not too close. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay,
That one
okay.
and Superman.
Okay, and
Um,
who is this by?
these are the rap artists. I can't remember names. I'll send those to you. But
Okay.
listen to the lyrics and really get the meaning of the lyrics. You're gonna be like, oh my god, I've been running around singing that. You'll recognize it when I send it.
Well, my last guest that I had on, they actually gave us, and it was something so eye-opening. It was a song I sung many times before, and I had not put, and I think I'm pretty smart and savvy that I can catch on fast, but I don't know. And it's for years and years. And I was like, oh my God, it left me with my mouth wide open because I could not believe that particular lyric. So I look forward to that
Okay.
because, I want to grow. I want to be able to pay attention, have more of an ear for things. And sometimes the artist is very savvy where you really have to pay attention. Like you think you're singing about one thing, but as you pay attention
Right.
and they give you enough information at the end, you're like, wait a minute, I think they're
Right.
talking about something else. So,
Right.
I definitely respect that. So I know you have sung at many probably funeral services, weddings, and I can go on and on. And the reason why I say that, when you get a group together and they sing as a group, that's an elevated energy. Like, for example, happy birthday, everybody sing together is an elevation. Or I think it's Drake's song. I started from the bottom, now we're here. When people sing it together at a graduation, it's like, wow, it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Can you share a space and time where you remember what it was? I don't care what lyric it was, where everybody sung together and you're like, wow, you felt that energy, you felt that frequency.
Oh wow. Normally when I've done like faith-based services, that's always an easy, get everybody involved. Just like any show that I do, at some point we're gonna get involved. Like when I like say on my R&B shows, I'll take people down memory lane. I do a section of songs called songs that we used to lie to.
Oh, wait, 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 wait. When I put my five hands up, that means stop because he said something. I need to get clarification. Did you
Okay.
say songs we used to lie to?
Songs we used to lie to. Like
Oh, you got it
late
now. You got to give us some.
ladies would do stuff like, I must have rehearsed my lines 1,000 times until I had them memorized. So, you ain't memorized no lines.
That's a
Come on.
good one. That's a good
And
one.
then the fellas would do stuff like, if you don't know me by now, you will never, those types of things. Those are songs like, well, we should tell some good stories to those songs. You
But
know, girl, you love me.
but those are some excellent ones. Give me one more off the top of your head.
Uh, it takes a fool to learn that love don't love nobody. Those are the songs that we used to lie to.
Well, you know what? That may be a lot, but it's some truth in that. It does take a fool to learn on something. So that is funny. Where did you come up with that concept to even incorporate that into your show?
It just happened. 9 times out of 10, stuff that happens it just happens on the spot. Either I needed to kill some time, or I was really trying to feel the audience. Trying to get into get into their space and make them a part of the night. And that's how that started. The song that we used to lie to.
Okay, wow. So when you prepare for your set, even though you say you don't pick out things, is it something you do personally, like maybe go la 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 la, or wear your favorite shoes? Do you have something you continuously do to make sure your shows are successful?
The biggest thing is getting people involved in the show. So when they leave out of there, they're like they have been a part of the show. I get people up dancing in whatever festivities, whether it's birthdays, anniversaries. We have a lot of fun with. We came up with something where it was called "He Put a Ring on It and She Said Yes." So no matter what we're playing at the time, I can always play with those lyrics and it gets the audience involved with. So I'll say, "He put a ring on it," and the audience goes, "She said yes." So
Oh, that's
everybody's
cute.
involved now.
Yes.
A couple that's celebrating. Now you got a room full of people that are serenading them. They
Oh,
never forget that.
that's smart. I love that. And again, how did that even come about? Was that an
Just
impromptu as
happened.
well?
It just happened. It just
Okay.
happened.
Well, I see you tap into your creative side, and you use it when you need it.
Yes.
Wow.
It's always going. As a kid, my mother, she was an educator. So instead of us getting time out or, go to your room like that, when you do go to your room, I need you to read a book. And then you're going to write a book report, or you're going to go write a story based on X, Y, and Z. So
Wow.
you had to
Now
always
it
tap in.
so is that where, because I know as I introduced you, I said reading is one of your things. Do you still have that love and passion for reading?
Yes and no. Doing because of the job, I'm starting to rediscover it. Because of the job, I had to do so much technical reading that my just pleasurable reading kind of went away. So now I'm getting back into that. I love mysteries.
Okay.
Back in the day, Sidney Sheldon, Alfred Hitchcock, those are my favorites.
Wow, Average Hitchcock, I haven't heard his name in so many years. And I don't know if you remember movie he had or a series called The Birds.
Oh yeah, oh
It
yeah.
was kind of creepy.
We weren't allowed to watch that as kids
I wasn't either, but
because
you
they didn't
do
want you
what
to
you
have
do.
bad dreams.
Exactly. And he was very monotone. I think he was from England, London, England,
I think
or
so. Yeah,
and he
yeah,
was very like he said what he had to say and then he moved on. But I would have never guessed that that was
yeah.
something you were into.
Yeah, I mean, what was cool about it is that he would tell the story, so he would tell you the end and then walk you through how he got there. That was always
Yes.
just fascinating to me. It's like I already
Yeah.
know how this ends, but how did he get there?
Yeah, that is very true. He does do that. And I think over time some people have adopted that, like giving you the end of it and then but it makes you pay attention. You're like, okay, what happened? You're gonna pay attention to the fly on the wall, the ticking clock, all those things so you can get the bigger picture of the end. Even though he showed you, now you can come to your own conclusion of why it ended as well. So
Right,
yeah.
right.
So I think that's a wonderful thing. Can I get you to tell me, so many times we have things that happen in our life, whether it's friends that has given us advice, family, or foes. And what I mean by foes, enemies. What is something you can share with the audience that you've endured that you now know I would never or never do it again, or it gives you a different perspective on life.
Wow. There's a couple things. Things that I've learned over the last, I say over the last 10 years, is that friendships and business relationships are two separate things.
Mm,
That's been a very tough lesson to learn. Coming up as technically as a business owner in the music industry, you have to separate, those things where you have friendships and then you have business relationships. So
Can you dig a little deeper and give me some examples on how you were able to identify that? Because sometimes I understand what you're saying, but it may be someone in the audience that are not quite sure of how to identify the difference.
The expectations in friendship and business relationships are completely different. In a business relationship, you have a particular skill or trade that I'm expecting you to bring forth and bring your best to. And I'm going to compensate you accordingly based on, what's there. In a friendship, the expectations are a little bit different. There's expectation of loyalty, there's expectation of privacy, there's expectation of discretion, those types of things. And when you have friends that are also involved in business, sometimes those lines get blurred.
I like that you said loyalty, I'm being on that, and discretion. Those two things seem to be lost in translation, and everybody doesn't have that perspective. So I think those two things alone has to be tested before you can say I'm a friend.
Right,
I'm
right,
just I see it all the time, and because if I'm a friend and you did something that rubbed me the wrong way, nobody needs to hear about it first but you. You and I need to have a conversation, and not in the midst of anybody else, and say, "Hey, this is what happened." I think when we involve other people before we get to the person, then that's where the mistakes and the
right,
chaos happens. So I'm glad you said that. Keep pouring that
right,
wisdom out.
right.
Keep teaching us that. So,
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing was, make sure that you pay it forward consistently, and those things come back to you. So I always
yes.
try and provide opportunities for other people, and I'm normally blessed, because of it.
No, I definitely I have something I say all the time. I got it from Bishop Leo LaFloy, but it says I have because I give. I give because I have. And because of my giving, I'm never without. I'm never without. I'm never without. So I do
Right.
believe in that. I definitely that. As we transition on, I have I know you probably like this has to be, we all have shelf staples, and our shelf staples do not expire. It lasts forever. Do you have a shelf staple song that has not expired that you can always just pull out, whether you're on a road trip, whether you're singing it, whether just it's that shelf staple song? And it may be years and years it's been in the remix, but it stands the test of time.
Uh, let's say on the gospel side, things like his eyes on the sparrow,
Mm,
falling in love with Jesus. On
mm.
the R&B side, gosh, before I let go. I mean, I've done that song a million times. But people still enjoy it because we always put our own thing to it. Yearning, uh, best of
Is
me.
Yearning, you're talking about the Gap Band?
Yep,
I'm yearning for your love.
yep.
Okay. And the
So those
next
are
one,
songs that are Anthony Hamilton, the best of me. Giving you
yes,
the best of me. Yeah, that one. So those are
yes.
songs that people enjoy hearing me do.
So if you were put up against the wall and they said, we're gonna give you $1 million and we got a whole bunch of angry people in this room, they showing out, they throwing their stuff on the floor, somebody talking about fighting. What would you do to get their attention? Just period. What would you do to get their attention? I mean, they acting up and they not paying attention to anybody and you come on board. What would you do?
It's going to be a combination of music and conversation, getting their attention, getting them involved, in what we're doing on stage. That's one of the things I've been blessed to be able to read a crowd and figure out how to get them involved. I've just been really been blessed to be able to do that in almost any setting. Doesn't matter the demographics, from a cultural standpoint. Uh, no matter if they don't look like me, I still can figure out how to get them involved in what I'm doing, and that's just been such a blessing for me.
Well, that's called a gift.
Yes.
So let me is it anything that you talked about being a captain, you talked about the Air Force, you talked about, yes, you mentor. Is it anything on your radar that's really pulling you to, and I know now you have more time since you're retiring, you have retired. Is it anything that tugs on your heart that you really want to tap into and do?
Well, I'm starting to get more into voice acting. So I've been able to do some voiceover work for the city and a couple other places. I'm doing radio now, 91.5 KUND Jazz and more. You know, what I mean, so I'm doing that kind of
Wow.
stuff. I want to get more into voice acting. Spending more time, with family. My mother is aging now, so it's time, we spend more time, with her, with the matriarch of the family. Um, just that kind of stuff, doing more family stuff.
I love that. I love that. But I think voiceover work is amazing. You do have the voice for that. Was this just something recently you discovered, or you always had a silent desire to do voiceover work, or it just kind of came with time?
I've always had a desire to do it. So it's like now I actually have the time and I'm actually finding the opportunities, certain doors are being opened. So people have always said, hey, man, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. So, you should try this. So now I have the opportunities to try it. I also enjoy writing. So I may start doing some more short stories.
Nice. Many things I've discovered right here on this podcast talking to
See?
you. Well, before we get out of here, I want to give you the opportunity to talk about any upcoming events you have, any social media platforms, any contact information so people can reach out if they have any questions or want to link up to you, with you. Um, the floor is yours.
So my social media handles on IG would be Ken Y Smooth on IG. Or if you want to link up with my band brand, you can catch me at KenFolk, that's KenFolk The Band, or and the Nephews, UNC and the Nephews on IG. Same thing on Facebook. My other band, Sons of Soul, you can find us on Facebook. So I have, 4 different band brands right now that I've been blessed to, get great opportunities with. You can find us every Friday night. I
I
do
was getting ready
R&B
to say, if
Unplugged.
you forget that, it was going to be a problem.
Friday nights R&B Unplugged with and the Nephews at Mariposa, and we go 8:45 to 10:30 ish, depending on how the room feels. Sundays you find Kenfolk at Blue Martini from 8 to 10. I've been there going on 9 years. I mean, that's unheard of. That's
Wow.
unheard of.
That's amazing.
That's
You
unheard
are
of.
definitely blessed. And as they say, highly favored, not flavored, favored. That's amazing.
Also,
Wow.
you can catch us at the Gospel Brunch at a House of Blues Gospel Brunch. You can catch us there, either Sons of Soul or Ken Young and Friends. Those are my other 2 brands. And then I'm just kind of all over.
So let me ask you a question. You said the gospel brunch. How often are you there? And is it like a particular Sunday so people would know, even if they're traveling into town, they know when they can catch you, or is it every Sunday?
We rotate now. So right now they're doing twice a month with the brunch. So I'll be there June, July, and August. I don't have those dates with me right now, but I'll be there June, July, and August.
And on your platforms, you'll probably list
Yes,
that stuff.
yes,
Okay. So that's a
yes.
great thing. I'm gonna have to now back in the day, and I said back in the days when I would attend that, they had some great bread pudding. Do they still do like the big spreads of
Yeah, the
food?
big spread is there. It's changed a little bit after the pandemic. They used to have some real good greens, and now they've substituted those with Brussels sprouts or something. I was like, that's not
Oh,
even fair.
okay.
Not even
They
a fair
took
comparison.
yes, they took that on a journey somewhere else. Okay. Oh wow. But when you're at that excuse me, when you do the gospel fest, what's the demographics that you see out in the audience?
The brunch is normally mixed. Um, Depending on the season, we'll see smaller percentages of people that look like you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, and we're still using the same formulas on getting people involved in it. We're able to bring them the gospel in a manner that they can understand it, and then they feel it, and they don't feel overwhelmed. Like, I didn't understand what was going on. So, we have that type of fun with them. During certain months, like if there's big events going on in the city, we normally will see more people that look like us. And so we can change and tailor the show a little bit different, change up a couple things and give it more of a Sunday feel.
That's amazing. So that's good to know because I think it was in the 90s. I'm telling my age when I went, and I remember it was just a sprinkle of us. And over time, people said it would increase. So now we have more people coming to
Yes,
Vegas.
yes.
And I think because of that, we have more representation of us. And I love that you say when you see us more of us, you may get a Sunday moment.
Right, right, definitely. We'll switch up. I've built spaces in the show that if we get those opportunities, we go for them and we try and kill it.
Oh.
So
Well, that's what we want them to do, to think about how, how Vegas has really given them that experience on all levels.
yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm just so ecstatic. I just have to say thank you for being a guest on my podcast and saying yes to me because you could have said no. I so
Ah,
can you
why? I ain't want to have to fight.
You know what? Listen, I am such a lady. I don't know how to fight. Yeah, right. If I have to. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
You got your chucks and your bandana on the side right now with some, some Vaseline ready to go.
Ready if I had no, I'm teasing. I really appreciate you. You've been over the years supportive. You're always every time I'm at an event. I have to say this. I was at my aunt's service the second year of COVID, and because everything was restricted, it was a piano player and it was yourself. And literally, this is my aunt's service, and you was over there just and doing your thing. And literally, it took me and my sister, we were both talking about it. We was like, we know we're in a service honoring the aunt, but you took it to a next level. And the energy was so elevated in the room. And I think we needed it not only because it was a service, because of the current times with, everything had to be
Yeah.
um very stagnant, and you sit here, you can't touch this, and those were the protocols. And I just remember really appreciating what you brought to the service. And then afterwards, I think it was 6 months later, I found out that you and my cousin, he was in your men's
My
choir.
men's choir, yeah. Yeah, yeah. He used to kill him. We had a song that he used to do, and when that brother would get down on that one knee, it was over. It was over.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it goes to show how small Vegas is. We're big, but we're small, and it's
Right.
always a connection. And I'm happy to say I'm from Las Vegas, and your children are born and raised here,
Yes.
correct?
All my
Yes.
children and grandchildren are all from here.
Okay. I didn't know you had grandchildren yet.
5 granddaughters.
Really?
Yeah, 5 granddaughters. 2 of them graduated from college this past weekend.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah.
congratulations.
They're going into Boyd School of Law this fall.
Wonderful. You got something to tap in. You like, hey, can you find out, is this legal?
Well, we have a law firm in the family, Young Law Group. So if you need any services, we got you.
Well, yeah, these are things on the platform that you are supposed to talk about. You've just been a plethora of information I had no idea of.
Yeah,
So,
Young Law Group. We're specializing in the areas of estate planning, wills. We do some personal injury. So yeah, give us a
wow.
call.
You just
Tell them
can't
that
sit
Pop sent
still.
you.
You can't sit still. That's all I gotta say.
Ooh,
You're like, no, no, no. So one thing I always say before I end my podcast, I say this: the journey is just as important as the destination. The journey is where we learn and grow, and the destination is where we celebrate. We have to have a moment to celebrate and enjoy ourselves. But the key to it all is not to celebrate too long. We got to get back on and go into that journey. So I thank you, and to my audience, I always tell them, don't don't follow me, join me. Thank you for being a part of Message Reveal podcast, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the future. But before we get out of here, is there anything else you would like to say?
No, just wanted to thank you for the opportunity. It took you long enough. No, thank you for the opportunity. And then here's a saying from me, something to consider. At the end of our journey, they're going to talk about, you came into the life at this date and you left on this date. What's most important is the dash. So don't forget, don't forget to live your dash. Don't forget to, not just be in the moment, but be in the dash. Make your dash make sense. Make it memorable. So
Yes.
when they get at the end, when they start talking about the dash, they say that person lived their dash.
I like that. Thank you for sharing that. That's some wisdom. And before we get out of here, it's something that I always do. Any of the men, I salute them, and the women, I bow. So I thank you. I salute you. You know, we're going to always be in touch. You can never get rid of me. I'm just telling you now, so everybody knows. And again, I thank you for one, supporting me, and you're my fourth interview. So I'm
Oh, wow.
like when they say wet and new behind their ears, I am, but I'm willing to do this. And not only willing to do it, it's something that's been on my heart for years. So thank you for being a part of my journey and saying yes to me.
Keep up the great work. I'm excited for you and looking forward to you doing big, big things. And just remember the little people when like large and way, way in charge.
You're a mess. So I salute you, and I will talk to you soon. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Everybody, Mr. Ken Young, thank you.